The show begins with a teenage boy called Drew. He hurries to catch up with his half-brother, Trent, who is driving a coach full of apples. They hurry home as quickly as possible because they promised their parent to be home before dark. On their way home, Drew meets Erin, a girl in their village who he has a big crush on. He looks at the full moon and begins to have this strange feeling in his body. Unknown to them, a were-rat is seen observing their movements. When the both brothers are close to home, their mum sights them from afar and tells them that dinner is ready. The both brothers suddenly increase their pace out of excitement until they got inside the house. Their mother is scared when she sees the were-rat around their house. Just as Drew's stepdad Mac stares at the full moon, Tilly secretly meets her husband Mac and tells him the time has come. They both contemplate on when to tell Drew a secret they have been keeping from him. Tilly decides to tell Drew the secret tonight after dinner. During dinner, Drew devours his food like he hasn't eaten for days, mentioning that his bones are burning. When a moonlight from the window touches his hand, his eyes suddenly begin to glow orange. Tilly and Mac realize they have waited too long. Drew's transformation has already begun. Tilly uses an excuse to take his brother Trent out of the house by telling him to go fetch the flock with his dad before the storm hits. Just after they left, Tilly tells Drew that he will have to leave their house tonight. He can't stay with him anymore because he is not like the rest of them. She thought they will have more time and tells him that whatever happens, he will always be her boy. Tilly notices the were-rat approaching their house and rushes to lock the door. Quickly, she picks up her dagger and stands prepared for the danger to come. The were-rat finds its way inside the house through the window and tries to hurt Drew, but Tilly comes to his aid and she uses her dagger to defend him, telling the creature to get away from her boy. Drew's stepdad and brother hear her screams from afar and hurries back home. Tilly fought really hard, but the were-rat uses its claw to kill her brutally. Drew stares at the full moon and his whole body starts to glow again. He suddenly changes to a half-werewolf and angrily attacks the creature for hurting his mom. The creature gets scared of his powers and runs away through the window. Before Drew's mom gave her last breath, she instructs him to go to a village called Bracken Home and find Duke Bergen, who is going to be the only one to help him. Drew's stepfather and brother dashes into the house and sees the corpse of Tilly on Drew's arms. They see already transformed Drew and conclude he was the one that killed Tilly. Drew tries to explain, but he wasn't given any chance as Mac attacks him with his sword. Drew decided to escape out of the house, but Mac calls the entire villagers to hunt him down. Trent, who has more speed, reaches Drew first and attacks him with his axe. Drew reminds him that they are brothers, but Trent tells him not anymore. Just as the rest of the villagers reached him, Drew decided to make a choice, fight or flight. He uses a supernatural strength to jump off the cliff and escaped. Drew runs really deep inside the forest. He hides as he watches a man named Lord Hogan training his student, Whitney. She's on her final test to prove herself, so Hogan sends her off to survive the night alone. He warns her that this is the Wilderman Forest, so she should be on her guard. He gives her a map, just in case anything happens, she will be able to find her way back to Brackenholm. Drew remembers Brackenholm to be the place his mother asked him to go to find Duke Bergen. He then tries to steal the map, but a trap Whitley set catches him. She calls him a thief, but Drew explains that he is only trying to use the map to get to Brackenholm to see Duke Bergen. But Whitney replies Duke Bergen is never going to meet a lowlife like him. She removes the traps and rides off, leaving Drew stranded. But Whitney doesn't get far before she hears a scream. It's Lord Hogan, and he is being attacked. Drew suggests he can help her, and in return, she should tell him what he needs to know. Lord Hogan suddenly shows up really injured from an arrow wound and warns them to run that the Wildermen are here. He tells them to leave him behind, but Whitney refuses, and the three struggle to run away from the Wildermen, and they lost their map in the process. Drew decided to fight back, his eyes glows again, and he killed one of the Wildermen, scaring the others away. Whitney pulls out the arrow shot by the Wilderman out of Lord Hogan's chest and realizes it's a poisoned arrow. There is no way to rush Lord Hogan back to Brackenholm for treatment because they have lost the map, but Whitney has another idea. There is a rare yellow flower that can remove the poison, and she knows where to look for it. Meanwhile, Drew's brother Trent is so furious and confused, he wonders why Drew would kill their mom because he was her favorite. Mac tells him that Drew was never like them, and now it's just two of them. Before they could process anything, the lion troopers march into the village. Mac tells Trent they need to return home, but Trent refuses to act like nothing happened. Someone needs to make Drew pay for what he did. Ignoring his father's warning, he goes to the troopers and offers them information of where they can find Drew. Lord Hogan's situation is getting really worse. Just as they got to the tree where the yellow flower is, Drew tells her to stay with him while he goes to get the plant himself. Just after packed all the flowers needed, he gets attacked by a gigantic spider. Whitney hurries to help him out, but she suddenly witnesses him turning into a werelord and killing the spider in one strike. Just as Whitney cures Lord Hogan poison with the flowers, she goes to approach Drew to ask if he knows what he is. Drew tells her he is some kind of freak, but she corrects him that he is a werelord. She knows because she is one too. Her eyes glow green, revealing her true nature as a bear lord. Drew is still confused, like which one is he? But Whitney tells him he is from one of Lycia's 7 great house, but Drew has no idea of his lineage, only his mother knew, but she never got the chance to tell him. He tells her that his mother's last words was to find Duke Bergen, and he has to keep that promise. Whitney begins to trust him. If he were working for the Lions, he would have left her and Hogan to die. Drew asks her why the Lions would even want her dead, and she decides to tell him the truth. King Leopold is a tyrant. He took down every rebellion ever since he stole the throne from the wolf. Whitney explains that each village was ruled by a werelord, a person gifted with animal shape-shifting ability. We have the Shark Lords, Stag Lords, were Rat, and the Bear Lords. They all pledged their alliance to the most powerful werelords, called the Werewolves, until the Lions came and destroyed them all. The wolves held the villages together for centuries. Now the Lions have all 7 realms by the throat. Ever since the Lions' leadership, people in all villages have been suffering. Just as she's done explaining, she tells Drew to join them. They need all werelord they can recruit to rebel against the Lion Lord. She tells Drew that the Duke Bergen he's looking for is a bear lord. She is happy, believing if the Duke sees Drew, it might motivate him to rebel against the Lions. Just as Lord Hoban woke up from unconsciousness, he sees the dead spider they killed and tells them they just made a mistake. What they just killed is one of the gods of the Wilderman. Now the Wilderman will try and kill them by any means possible. An army of Wildermen chase after them until they arrive at the village of Brackenholm. Just as they got surrounded, a very massive bear shows up and started tearing the Wildermen apart, while the others get scared and runs back inside the forest. The bear shape shifts back to its human form, and it's revealed to be Duke Bergen, the man Drew has been looking for all along. Whitney runs to hug him as Duke Bergen is revealed to be her father. Whitney tells her father that she brought home something very incredible, something more than just a stray boy. She tells him Drew is a werelord. Drew tries to explain, telling Bergen that he was sent here by his mother and he needs his help, but Bergen angrily tells him to leave. The Lions are on their way to their village, so he doesn't want any trouble. Just as Drew insisted to speak to him, Duke Bergen orders his guards to push him out. He tells his daughter that the wolves were the only ones who would have stood against the Lions, but he has no idea that Drew is one. While Drew struggles with the guards, he transforms into a full wolf and took down the guards. Whitney sees this and is really shocked. Drew is a werewolf. Duke Bergen sees this and suddenly grabs him and throws him inside his cell. Drew thinks of a way to escape from prison and suddenly thinks of an idea. He begs the standby guards to come help him, lying that he is dying. Just as they open the cell to check on it, he runs out. He yells out saying he needs to speak to Duke Bergen, but the guards increased in numbers and bundled him back into his cell. The Lion troopers are now in their village, and for a special reason, they move around the market and started intimidating the shop owners by taking whatever they want. But Whitney pays the owners with her money. She suddenly sees Prince Lucas, the son of the Lion Lord, riding her horse away and runs after him. She asks the prince what he is doing with her horse. He tells her it's a good horse and is going to keep it because he is the prince and can do whatever he likes. Just as she tried to fight for her horse, Duke Bergen intervenes. He deceives the prince that the horse is terrible and he will show him a more better horse. The son of Duke Bergen, Lord Brogan and brother to Whitney, enters the cell. Drew is locked in to give him some food. He shows him this kindness because he heard how Drew protected his sister from the Wildermen. He tells Drew to be calm. Their father will see him soon, just when the royal guards leave their village. The king's son, Prince Lucas, recently brought the royal guards to their village to ask Lady Gretchen hand in marriage, his cousin's sister and Duke Burgundy's. On the other hand, Whitney sees the royal guards bullying a orange selling, but decided not to stand and watch this time. She tries to teach the guards some lesson, but the royal magister, Lord Van Caskin, stops her with his magic. The boy following him is called Hector. He is Duke Bergen's nephew who wants to become a magister. Just as Lord Van Caskin teaches him the ways of a magister, Whitney quietly drags Hector to the streets. She hugs her cousin brother excitedly. When she finds out Hector is going to be a magister, she believes he will be a huge help to her in identifying warlords. She takes Hector to the prison where Drew is locked in. Drew is angry with Whitney, who does nothing to help him. He grabs Hector, who could immediately tell that he is a werewolf. Just as Whitney tells Hector to keep it a secret, they saw Duke Bergen giving Prince Lucas a tour around his village and hurries to hide. Whitney tells Hector that if Prince Lucas find out about Drew, they will get him killed. King Leopold the Lion Lord had wiped out all the wolf lineage to take the throne, not knowing one survived. Drew is a threat to King Leopold and Lucas' claim to the throne, so she wants to help keep Drew away from Prince Lucas as possible. Hector returns to Lord Van Cascon, his master, and apologized for being late. Van Cascon says if he keeps him waiting again, his life won't be worth living. He tells Hector to get his journal out and start taking note, but Hector realizes his journal is no longer in his pocket. It was Drew who took the journal that time he grabbed him. From the journal, he finds out that warlords can only be harmed by silver, by fire, by magic, and their fellow warlords. Later that night, Duke Bergen and his wife, Duchess Rainier, gives a toast to Prince Lucas, thanking him for joining their feast, as he will soon be the husband to their niece. Lady Gretchen. Whitney whispers to her father that she needs to speak to him about Drew, and it's very important. But Prince Lucas gets their attention. He brings up the topic of what his Magister told him concerning a commotion at their gates last night. Something to do with his new prisoner he locked up in the Black Oak. We find out it was Hector who told the Magister about the prisoner, as his life was being threatened. Duke Bergen tries to deny to Prince Lucas that the prisoner is just a wilderman. But the prince is curious on what's so special about the prisoner that he hasn't been dealt with already. He tells Duke Bergen that he wants to execute the prisoner himself. Bergen almost lost control of his anger, but Whitney tells Prince Lucas that she will bring the prisoner to him herself, but she obviously has other plans on her own. Meanwhile, since Duke Bergen won't come to him, he will go to him. Drew decides to escape from the prison through the window, as he knows a warlord cannot be hurt from a fall. Just as he is in the process of escaping, Whitney stops him from seeing Duke Bergen. He tells her he needs to find Bergen to know the truth about him. Whitney tries her best to stop him because he has no idea the danger he is getting himself into. While Prince Lucas waits for Whitney to arrive with the prisoner, he noticed a claw mark on Hector's body and interrogates him on who did that to him. Only a warlord can do that to him, and just as the prince finds out it was the prisoner doing, he runs mad telling everyone to bring the prisoner to him. While Whitney tries to stop Drew from reaching Duke Bergen, they both slip in as they fall. Drew suddenly transformed to a full wolf. The people are surprised to see him and started to cheer up, saying the wolf has returned. Whitney knows this will put her father in danger and knocks Drew out with her beast form. She hurries to join her brother and the other soldiers to welcome her uncle, Baron Huth of Reismeyer, and his son, Lord Vincent, and his daughter, Lady Gretchen, the prince's bride-to-be. We find Gretchen character to be so arrogant as she snubbed a welcome hug from Whitney. All she cared about at that moment was to see the prince. Baron Huth tells Brogan that is looking forward in reuniting with his first son, Hector. Drew wakes up from unconscious and finds Duke Bergen waiting for him. He tells Duke Bergen that all he just wants from him is how to control his abilities. Bergen tells Drew that him being a wolf means he is the son of Verga himself, the Wolf King, and that makes Drew a threat in the eyes of many, especially the king, the Lion Lord. He tells Drew that the last time he helped a wolf, it nearly cost him his head, so he's not going to do such again. The prince is so furious with Duke Bergen for hiding such a prisoner away from him. But Lord Van Cascon tells him the Bear Lords were never truly loyal. They are far too fond of the old King Verga. Lucas wonders how a wolf still lives because his father put a silver sword through the heart of the last wolf. Lord Van Cascon tells him if a wolf does live, it could be a threat to King Leopold hold to the throne. So Prince Lucas and Lord Van Cascon decided to go to Drew prison cell without Duke Bergen knowing to kill him. Hector overhears their conversation and rushes to inform Whitney and her brother Brogan. They enter the cell to see Van Cascon trying to kill Drew. Brogan holds the prince from behind and threatens Van Cascon to let Drew go. He tells Brogan to let the prince go first, and he will let go of the boy. Just as Brogan lets the prince go, Van Cascon throws Drew off the building to kill him, but Whitney catches him with the assistance of her brother. Duke Bergen enters, but he couldn't challenge the prince when he is told that Drew will be his prisoner from now on. Later that evening, just when Prince Lucas is about to begin his marriage with Gretchen, he discovers that Whitney and Brogan has helped Drew escape. Duke Bergen catches them, but this time he allows Drew to escape, telling him to stay as far away from the lions as possible. But things takes a dark turn when Prince Lucas shows up with his guards to attack them all, and that was how the episode ended. Thank you for watching, guys. If you want me to continue this show, please let me know in the comments section below. Bye.